Hey folks, Jessica here. So we're in Genshin Impact again, and we just cleared Abyss Floor 9-3. I recorded the whole thing, so I figured I'd do a video since it was quite a wild ride. It was pretty hard, actually. I'll do my usual thing where I do commentary over the whole fight. But first, I want to give a brief overview of what Abyss is, and then briefly talk about what I was running. So if you're just interested in seeing the fight footage, I will include a timestamp in the description down below, and you can just skip ahead if you just want to see the fight. But let's talk about Abyss. If you're not familiar with where I am out in the Musk Reef on this little island. Don't try and swim here. There's actually a portal in Cape Oath. It's a giant black portal in the sky that you jump into, and that will take you out here. Once you get here, there's not much out here except for this portal. Jumping the portal sends you into the Abyss. So what is the Abyss? The Abyss is basically the end game of Genshin Impact right now. It's a series of progressively more difficult challenges, and once you clear 1 through 8, you unlock 9 through 12, which are harder still. It's gonna take a pretty strong team to get through all of this. In fact, I don't think anyone's actually cleared 12 on global yet. I haven't been keeping track of how far other people are getting. If anybody knows how far the furthest person is, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments down below. But it's going to take strong teams and a lot of coordination to get through all of this. And it's interesting because people like to go on and on about how they can beat the game with any combination of characters. They don't need to worry about rushing and gearing them up and leveling or anything. The game's so easy, etc. And it's like, what do you mean by beat the game? Do you mean like clear the main story quest? Because the main story quest ends at adventure rank 29. Like, there's not a lot of main story. It's not finished yet. The only thing to do that's hard beyond that is this stuff, and this stuff's gonna really tax your roster to get all the way through. But whenever you click on one of these, it's split up into 3 chambers. So a chamber is a floor is 3 chambers, and each floor will have a leyline disorder, which is a passive stage effect. You should keep this in mind, but I wouldn't really worry about it too much for building a team. Your strongest characters are gonna still be your strongest characters unless they completely misalign with the entire floor. So not just the line disorder, but the wrong element to actually clear the enemies. You can get a summary of what enemies are on the floor by clicking on this. And note this, you get stars based on the remaining challenge time, and you need 6 stars total between all the chambers in order to progress to the next floor. So that's also going to be a huge block for a lot of folks, because you need a lot of damage output in order to clear this fast enough to get through all the floors into the next one. If you're just able to survive and just cockroach down the floor, that's not going to be good enough, because you're not going to get enough stars. Also, you get rewards. Let's see if I can... Yeah, I can still see them. You get these rewards based on stars as well. So you're very much incentivized to clear quickly, and that's where, like, really meta team builds are going to help a lot. I know some people don't want to hear that, but it's true. When you go to the floor, you can pick any of your characters to build a team. The thing that's also going to tax people is floor 4 is the last one you can do with just one team. When you get to floor 5, here, you're going to build 2 teams. So this is still 3 chambers, but they're divided into a first half and a second half. And when you build 2 teams, your first half team will fight the first half, second half team will fight the second half. This isn't like your second team's a backup in case the first one dies. No, you need to use both teams, and the floors are, the halves are going to be equivalently difficult. So both sides need to be able to handle what they're going to fight, and that's going to really be tricky for some folks, because you don't have a lot of materials at this point to level up characters. So building 2 teams might be difficult for you. Additionally, some folks might not even have 8 characters to build 2 teams with, so that's gonna be a challenge. I think the thing that worked for me, and will probably work for most folks, is focusing on 2 DPS, your 2 strongest DPS to level, and having them be your team leaders for each team. So Deluxe 70, Official 70, they're both super strong meta damage dealers, and they'll do most of the work on these floors. And then you support them with the rest of your team. So like something like that for a double fire team, and then for official I could run something like Keiching and Mona and Jean, and that's a decently solid team because I have double fire elemental resonance, double electricity elemental resonance, a healer, on both teams, and then a strong utility character that will amplify my damage on both teams. And that's a general setup that will get you through most of this. You want the rest of your team to be leveled enough so they don't just get clapped the second they get hit by something. Like, how do you say his character's name? Cheng Ling? Is that how you say her name? Someone let me know. I'm so bad at names. By the way, yes, I know her. I know this girl's name is Chi-Chi, and I've been saying Kiki. I don't know why I've been saying Kiki. I think it's because that song, Let's Have a Kiki, that bop from back in the day. If anyone knows what song I'm talking about. But yes, this setup is pretty decent, and my characters are mostly level 60. My carries are 70. The level 50 is probably as far low as you're going to want to get somebody, and honestly, I only use her as a support. Like, I use her, throw her spear, and I swap her out. She's not on the field any amount of time at all. Having under-level characters does put them in significant danger of dying. They can die, but a thing to know is if they die on Chamber 1, they're going to be dead all the way through Chamber 3. So we really don't want to lose characters early on, so keep that in mind. So for my actual team for 9's a little bit different because I usually run the double elemental resonance, but 9's got an interesting thing. So it's got the Leyline Disorder, Pyro damage dealt 75% increase, Electro damage dealt 75% increase. Okay, great. My two primary damage dealers are Deluxe and Fischl, who's Pyro and Electro, so no big deal there. Overloaded damage increased by 200%, so if you combine Lightning and Pyro, does a bunch of extra damage, and you're going to really need it on these floors. But the thing that really informed my team building here is this first floor is Pyro Slime, Electro Slime, and then another Electro Slime on both halves. So I don't really want to run double Pyro on the first half because I'm going to kill the Electro Slime's fine, but the Pyro Slime's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't want to run double Electro in the second half because I'll kill the Pyro Slimes fine, but the Electro Slimes are going to be annoying. So I actually had to change my comp up a little bit, so I went with this. I went like Deluxe, where are you? Mona and Chi-Chi, and who was the last one? It was Keiching. So this gives me a Pyro character to deal with the Electro Slimes, Electro character to deal with the Pyro Slimes, and because it's a Pyro Slime, Electro hitting it causes overload. And if it's an Electro Slime, a fire character hitting it causes overload. So you see how the team build works really well there. Other half was something like this Fischl, the cook. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. Jean and Venti. This setup's a little bit more awkward because Fischl will body the Pyro Slime, but the cook lady, Cheng Ling, has a lot of trouble because she's only 50 killing the Electro Slimes. So I'm mostly actually relying on Venti's ult because it's broken in order to dump a lot of damage onto everything and help kill it with just like animo damage. And also a thing to note is Fischl does primarily Electro damage the way I use her, but if you don't summon Oz, her first constellation gives her a significantly increased amount of physical damage, white damage, so she can white damage down things, even if it's even if it's an Electro Slime or Electro enemy, you can just use white damage to kill it with Fischl, so that's a nice bit with Fischl. Really quickly, everyone's gear. I'm gonna shoot right through this because there's 8 characters. I will do a more detailed talk about gear at some later point. Jean I just got, so she's really not very well equipped at all. She's running 2-piece Braveheart, 2-piece Wanderer's Troop. As you can see, +0, +0, +0, +4, +4, really under-equipped, but it was fine because I was just using her primarily as a healer. And she did great in that role. She really saved my team's life numerous times with her elemental burst. Her weapon is the flute. Refinement 5, probably the best one-handed sword for most one-handed sword users for pure damage, especially at 4-star. Venti is running 2-piece Veridistant Venerer, 2-piece Instructor. Venti loves Elemental Mastery because he's doing so much damage by chaining his ult into other characters' skills. I would run 4-piece Veridescent Venerer if I had it, but I don't have it, so this is what we're running. +16 on the 2 Veridescent Venerer pieces, because they are worth investing in. His bow is stringless, probably his best in slot bow. It's refinement 4. plus 42% elemental skill damage and elemental burst damage. Again, so much of his damage is from combining his elemental burst into other characters, so this is very good. Fischl is a complete beast. This Chuni has been hitting the gym. She lifts because she's 2.2k attack. She's running 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Thundering Fury. Her Gladiator piece, 5-star, is plus 20. Everything else is plus 16. So she is really decked out. Her weapon is Amos Bow. It's a 5-star bow at Refinement 3. This is probably the best in slot bow for pure damage archers. Also, her constellation, she's 6 constellation. And Jean, for reference, is 0 constellation. Venti is 1 constellation. Let's talk Diluc. Diluc and Fischl are my 2 damage carriers, remember, so they're the most decked out. Diluc is running 2-piece Crimson Witch of Flames, which is probably his best in slot set. I would run 4-piece, but I don't have it yet. Plus 16 on the Crimson Witch pieces, plus 12 or plus 16 on the martial arts pieces. Overall, pretty good set for him, but I do want the 4-piece. His weapon is Wolf's Gravestone, if you're not familiar with this. It's a really cool looking sword, but it's a 5-star sword as well. It's plus 20% attack, but this is the big thing. If you hit somebody with 30% health or less, it increases the whole party's attack by 40% for 12 seconds. Really big buff, so this thing's very strong. And he is Constellation 1. Keiching, my other healer, very, very, very important for clearing this. Set her up like a pure healer. Keiching's running full Maiden Beloved, which is the healing set. Everything's, I think, plus 8, so not super plussed up, but she wasn't doing a lot of frontline fighting anyways. She's running this as plus 12, just Fortitude the Brave for attack. Attack is useful because she scales off of attack. Her weapon is Sacrificial Sword. There's a whole series of sacrificial weapons. They're all, if you deal elemental skill damage to something, it's got a chance to reset the cooldown of the skill. It's a higher chance and a quicker cooldown, like a quicker interval that you can reset every refinement level. This is arguably broken on Keiching because Keiching's elemental skill is 30-second cooldown, and it's also multiple hits, so it's very likely to reset, and every time you reset, it's a big deal. And with this kind of weapon, she can effectively keep her elemental skill up 100% of the time. It's really strong. And she is refinement, or sorry, not refinement. You don't refine characters, you constellation them. She's Constellation 1. Keiching is next. We're almost through all the characters. Keiching is running 4-piece martial artist. I want Thundering Fury for her, but I don't have enough pieces yet, because resin. Plus 12 on 2 pieces, plus 8, plus 4, plus 4. So not super plussed up, but she's alright. She is running a Skyward Blade, only Refinement 1. This thing gives her increased movement speed and attack whenever she elemental bursts, and increases her damage as well when she elemental bursts, her normal and charge attack damage. This is extremely strong for her because she elemental bursts a lot. As you can see, it's an elemental recharge weapon, and she is very much a character that spams elemental bursts, so that all fits very well for her. She is Constellation 1. Mona, like Jean, I haven't really had a lot of time to invest in her. She's running double energy recharge. The plan was to unlock this skill, which gives her increased hydro damage bonus that scales off of energy recharge, which is very strange, but that's how she works. But I don't have the mats to send her yet, so I haven't gotten that, so this didn't really play that much of effect. She's Constellation 0. Her weapon is this thing, Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds. I primarily use this for the movement speed buff, not gonna lie, but it does give you a stacking elemental damage buff up to 32% right now at Refinement 1, so it's a nice book, but mostly for the movement speed. And the last character I was running is you. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. And I screwed up her artifacts. I don't know how to say her name. I screwed up her artifacts. She's only running Exile. I'm just gonna call her the Cook from now on. The Cook is running 2-piece Exile and nothing else because I completely screwed up her artifacts because I didn't really rely on her for that much. She is Constellation 6, by the way, as with all the characters on the Venti banner, as you might expect. And then she's running this Dragon's Bane, which is very strong for her as a support character because it gives her increased damage against Pyro characters and Elemental Mastery, and I use her support. She just throws out the bear and throws out the spear. She's a bear and spear thrower. And that is everyone. Let's get into the fight footage. Okay, we're into the actual fight. So I'm pausing here so you can see the cards. Choices are character damage bonus after sprinting, physical damage resistance plus 30%, or defeating an enemy gives you a 50% chance of resetting your skill cooldown. None of these are super exciting. I kind of just want a general damage boost all the time. But I will take the skill cooldown reset. That seemed like the most useful one, but I don't think any of these are super great for this particular floor. So remember, these are slimes, but don't be lulled in a sense of complacency. They will clap you if you let them hit you. Use bonus decoy into her ult into Deluxe ult for mega damage. Deluxe does so much damage. He really carries me through these floors, I'm not gonna lie. So much damage, especially with the overloaded bonus damage and the pyro bonus damage. Against those electro slimes, he just disintegrates them. Yeah. Deluxe really doing some work here. I try and switch characters often to use their skills to charge their elemental burst, by the way, which is why you see me switching all the time. Get used to the look throwing his Phoenix out, by the way. Happens a lot. Yeah, Deluxe does so much damage. It's interesting because I hear people every now and then talk about... Oh, I'm doing Chi-Chi's Fortune Preserving Talisman ult to mark everybody, let them heal up. As you can see, Deluxe taking a lot of damage because these things hit really hard, so I'm trying to get that down so he can just top himself up. That's why Chi-Chi's a really strong healer, because she can heal without actually having to stay on the field. But yeah, as I was saying, some people, I don't know why they say this. I think it's mostly because they don't have a Deluxe, but they say they try and say Deluxe falls off in endgame, and I'm like, bruh, what are you talking about? His damage is always gangster all the way from beginning to end. Like, if this is an endgame, then what is this mythical endgame where he suddenly falls off is that you people keep talking about? Here comes Keiching, because this is a fire slime, and I don't want to hit it with Deluxe attacks because Deluxe does fire damage. Also, Keiching can proc Overload because electricity and fire. So there's 5 enemies left. We're almost done with this floor. Mona's Decoy does some serious work, by the way. Mona's Decoy is so handy. Deluxe, blowing everyone away with a Phoenix again. And yeah, this floor is not that hard. And if you're wondering how I'm spamming my elemental burst a lot, remember, if someone uses an elemental skill, it's going to give them a charge of towards their elemental burst really fast. So if you want to get elemental burst fast, squat between your characters, throw out their elemental skills. It's generally not a bad thing to do anyway. You know, honestly, I really want a Constellation 6 to look, but that's we'll see if he ever gets a banner. Rate up banner. I presumably they'll do rate up banners for characters at some point. Anyways, here I'm taking some time to build people's elemental burst up a little bit. Yes, you do want to finish the fights out fast because of the timer, but you want to also end the floors with as many elemental bursts as possible, and if possible also your people topped up, because getting through the floor with everyone almost dead and no elemental burst charged up is not setting yourself up for success. Let's put it that way. Here's Team 2, second half. Same thing, slimes. I restarted this so many times because Fischl got bodied by flying through the slimes, so don't do that. But there's Venti's ult. Fish turns into a bird and tries to fly through them and almost dies. That's why you need to be careful about flying through them, because Fischl's doesn't have iframes when she's a bird. The cook throws up spear, and then Jean's just whacking people to like try and get some health back. Fischl's topped up enough that she can jump on the field now. But yeah, gotta be careful, because you try and just plow through those things, you'll die. Telling you from experience. Just throwing everything out. Venti's almost charged up again, and Venti really does heavy lifting on floors like this. Positioning for his ult. And then Fischl and the bird again. If you want to use Fischl's bird with Venti's ult in this fight, try and skirt the edges of the pile. Don't fly through the middle like I did the first time. There's Jean's healing field. It'd be nice if I actually stood in her field, but I'm being pushed out by slime, so that's why I'm not standing in it. It does do initial bursts of healing as well, so if you can stay on the field, great. If you can't, then, well, you still got healed a bit. And the reason the Cook is such a powerful support character is, especially Constellation 6, her ult lasts so long. That Fire Spear spins around for so freaking long, which is why I really like her as a support character. I haven't run her much as primary DPS, because, well, I just don't. I have Deluxe for my Pyro primary DPS, but she's supposed to be a pretty solid primary DPS character as well. So moving on to the next floor. So the next floor, I'm trying to remember, I think the first fight is the treasure hunter guys. And again, these choices are terrible. Like, the only new choice was max HP, so I just went with sprinting increases damage. I wasn't playing around it at all, but, you know, I figured if it gives me incidentally more damage, then great. And yeah, Mona's Decoy is just so good for, like, saving yourself damage. Yeah, it does damage and everything and applies elemental, but it distracts guys. That's, like, really useful. It's also pretty beefy. Like, it's not going to just die on you. I popped Venti out there to, or not Venti, Chi-Chi out there a few seconds to whack it with her sword, because that puts the healing thing on. And that's another thing you can do once you get Chi-Chi to 4-star, not 4-star, yeah, 4-star. Just pop her out real quick for a heal like that. These guys aren't hard or anything. They're mostly annoying because they don't like to group up. And because they don't like to group up, it takes a while to clear them since you can't really AoE them down as easily. Like, as you can see, they're mostly just staying spread out. And I'm not running Venti on this team, so I don't have a good way of clustering them. The main way I can hit them all is just using Deluxe Phoenix. They're kind of tanky too as well. Like, these guys are just in general annoying. They're not super dangerous because their attacks are really easy to avoid, but if you do get hit by a lot of those little potions they're throwing, it will body you. So be careful about that, but honestly, if you're paying attention, you're not going to die of that stuff. And I'm throwing the Luke's Phoenix, like, just on cooldown, basically. Whenever it's charged up, I just send it out, because, again, clearing fast is important. Yeah, I really didn't think I'd like the look, but he's Batman. His backstory is he's Batman. And if you know me, if you've been following, like, comment, subscribe, you know Batman's my favorite superhero. So this Fatui girl comes out, and she potentially could be pretty dangerous. So I'm just dropping the hammer on her, just hitting her with freaking everything. I am out for this woman's life. Like, none of any of that. Just get out of here. Get out of here. See, I just got hit by those potions from those guys, and it does a lot of damage, so be careful. In fact, I'm using Chi-Chi's ult here just to top me off after getting hit by that thing. Need you idiots to knock the shit off. And even though I'm trying to focus her down, she is pretty tanky. In fact, she goes into her weird ultimate form, which I've never seen her do before until this attempt, but I guess she can give herself a shield like all of Fatui. DeLuca almost dies there, by the way. That was really close. Chi-Chi, with her her normal attacks applying the Fortune Preserving Talisman so DeLuca can heal up. Super clutch. Chi-Chi, extremely powerful healer. This idiot's almost dead. The Luke is almost dead also. So we cut it pretty close a few times here, but overall we'll be fine. I do want the Luke to get topped off though before we go to the next floor. So I believe I spent a little bit of time here trying to get him some more health back. Okay, on to the next bit. This is Fatui. And this part is tough. Because Fatui put a shield on themselves, so it's key that you do as much damage to them as possible before they put the shield up, otherwise you're going to have a lot of trouble clearing them. So I'm just going to drop everything I can on them as much as possible. because I want to burn them down before those shields come up. I'm even throwing Jean's in for a heal, but also does damage. Like, you just have to burst them. If you can't, you're probably going to die, because the shields absorb so much damage that you're not going to be able to kill them in time. And all these guys are particularly dangerous in their own ways. The boxer guy I killed at first can kind of lock you in place and punch you, which is very deadly, especially if stupid hammer jackass jumps in with his hammer. The proper way to dodge that is to wait till he's almost near you and then dash instead of just trying to outrun it, because you can't really outrun it. As you can see, Venti's ult is doing work. One guy's Electro, so that's why he's still freaking completely full almost. But everyone that's not Electro, from Fischl and Venti, are almost dead. Like, Jean's not doing much damage, but I do try and get her her E off, her elemental skill, to charge her heal like that. Because her elemental skill comes out cooldown really fast, really fast. Not to mention, when she gets her 4-star talent, her ult gives her elemental burst back at the end of it, so you can charge her heal very fast. And Venti ult doing so much work. I think I misaligned that bear. Yeah, yeah, it's bear is spitting in there. Okay, we've cleared out everything except for the Electro guy. This is what I was saying before, because my primary DPS is Electro. It's a little awkward here. But I mean, what are you going to do? This gives me some time to top people off a little bit with Jean and charge everyone for the next floor, which is important. I think we only get 2 stars on this floor. I can't remember for sure. But right now, like, I'm pretty safe. There's no way this guy's going to kill everybody. Unless I'm super careless, no one's going to die here. So I'm just kind of setting up for the next floor. If it were more pressing for me to get 9 stars, then I would go through this a lot faster, but for now it's fine. Also note, once his shield goes down, he's gonna die really fast. Alright, there is Chamber 2. So onwards to Chamber 3. So I picked Character Elemental Mastery there. It was a very nice bonus, actually. But, you know, would have helped in earlier floors. This fights 2 of these rock idiots, Sonic the Hedgehog and the big Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic's dad, I guess. These guys hit really hard, and they're very beefy. I tried a couple ways of doing this. One time I tried focusing the little guy down, but I found it better just to DPS to dad, and then when the little guy wanders into the damage, then he takes whatever damage he does. Chasing the little guy around is not an effective strategy, in my experience. Also, Cryo helps a lot here, because it can freeze them, as you just saw. But this part actually wasn't terribly bad. It took a couple tries to figure out how to do it efficiently. We're also on the finer chambers, so if someone dies, then it's not really a big deal. I just need to get through this chamber and I'm done. So, overall, this one was low pressure than the previous floors. It's also just 2 guys, so you kind of it's easier to predict what's going to happen. And this guy's just super tanky, super freaking tanky. He's got a shield as well. So you do need to break through it with elemental skills, but in general he's also just got a ton of HP, so the shield doesn't really matter that much. Stupid little Sonic the Hedgehog guy. And remember, we still do bonus electro damage, pyro damage, and overload damage. So anytime we can set that up, it's going to be good damage. We're also, I think, causing Crystallize to happen, which is why those little chunks fall off, because this guy is Geo, and any skill hitting Geo causes Crystallize, and those little chunks give you a little bit of a damage shield. A little bit of shield against damage, I guess I should say. But yeah, this guy, not too bad. You just dance around his feet, beat him up as much as you can, get as much damage as you can in. It's a little bit tricky to get him down quickly just because he's got so much health. Also, keep in mind, this guy's 76. My highest characters are 70, which is the look official. Everyone else is 60 or lower, so getting damage in a little bit tricky. Camera can fight you a little bit, by the way, if you get stuck against the wall like I just did, but it's fine. No finesse here. We're just gonna try and just brawl with this guy until one of us dies. And then, on the other side, final floor. And it is 2 of these stupid robots. If you hate these robots, then, well, this is gonna be pain. And this floor is mostly Fischl's damage, just carrying, because Fischl murders these things. I do try and do other stuff like use Venti, but these things are not really very vulnerable to Venti's ult, I find, just because they're not sucked in by it, so they tend to walk out of it, unless you're really careful. I still try, though. Venti tries. Those rockets do a ton of damage if you let the whole barrage hit you. So you'll often see me switch off of Fischl onto someone like Venti who's not key in this fight, because if he gets bodied by the rockets, fine, as long as Fischl doesn't. In fact, he gets clapped right there by the rockets, so RIP Venti, you'll be missed. We'll remember you, brave soul. And then at this point, it's like, just screw the finesse, we're just gonna burn these guys down with Fischl. If you get really far away from them, I find they tend to shoot more rockets, so if you can get skirt the distance where you're not quite in melee range, but you're not quite out of melee range, they'll try and swing at you, and that's way safer than them trying to rocket you constantly. Fischl almost dies there, by the way, because again, you don't have iframes when you're in the Oz form, the Thunderbird form, whatever it's called. Switching to Jean there to tank. Really, anytime rockets come out, if I don't think I dodge them, I just switch to another character, because if they die, fine, as long as Fischl lives. Because Fischl is doing work. Fischl's so strong. It's official. And there we go. 9-3 clear. I got, I think, 3 stars, 2 stars, 2 stars. So, not bad. Catch after the cut for some conclusions. So that's been Spiral Abyss floor 9. I will do floor 10 probably when I hit adventure rank 40, because I want to get to 40 and get everyone leveled up a little bit more, get them all talented up. Because I think floor 10 is, yeah, it's level 80, and I don't really want to try and hit these challenge times with a 10 level deficit. That's going to be a total pain. So maybe I'll do a video when I manage to clear floor 10. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Abyss might seem a little bit intimidating at first, but you should just try it out, because like these early floors are not that hard at all, and there's really good rewards. There's gems. Here you can see there's Primo Gems and Mora, and then you can also get these boxes that give you stuff starting from, I think, floor 6. 6-3 gets you a gold box, which gets you a 5-star artifact. It's random what it will be. It might or might not be great, but you know, you should try and get it if you can. This is the end game of Genshin Impact right now. This is the hardest stuff you can do. There likely will be more stuff, but who knows when it will come. So like, if you're really looking for something to challenge yourself, this is what you can build towards being able to clear, because it's going to require good teams. I think for a lot of people, having put together 2 reasonable teams is going to be super tricky early on. It'll become easier though as we get more time into the game. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this, let me know down below. If you have anything you want me to talk about, let me know down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!